There are two things that incite strong emotions in almost everyone: religion and politics. People are very passionate about their political views, and especially if they feel they have the moral high ground. Well, this is nothing new, and Jesus was confronted with the same sort of fervor over politics in his day as we are today. When asked about paying taxes, this was how he answered. "Tell us then what you think. Is it lawful to pay taxes to Caesar or not?" But Jesus, aware of their malice, said, "Why put me to the test, you hypocrites? Show me the coin for the tax." And they brought him a denarius, and Jesus said to them, "Whose likeness and inscription is this?" And they said, "Caesar's." And then he said to them, "Therefore render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's." Matthew 22:17 through 21. Surprisingly, Jesus refused to be sucked into a political battle. His view was that Caesar's face was on the coin, so if he wanted it back, give it to him. On the other hand, it's God's image that is stamped on our souls, so we should get about the business of serving him with all of our being. This idea of submitting to government authorities is reiterated by the apostles in the New Testament. Paul would say, "Let every person be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except from God, and those that exist have been instituted by God. Therefore, whoever resists the authorities resists what God has appointed, and those who resist will incur judgment." Romans 12, 1 through 2. Paul would go on in Romans 12 to say that the rulers are servants of God, though often unknowingly, that are being used by him to fulfill his plans. So pay your taxes, obey the laws, be a good citizen. Paul would later tell Timothy that the church should pray for kings and all that are in high places, that we may lead a tranquil and quiet life in all godliness and gravity. 1 Timothy 2, verse 2. Christians aren't supposed to be insurrectionists trying to change the government down here. If you have the right to vote, well, certainly exercise that right, but don't be surprised when the world doesn't look like heaven. And remember, pray for those rulers, even if you didn't vote for them. It does turn out, though, that there is one exception to this attitude of submission. What if the government asks you, as a Christian, to do something sinful, or to stop doing something God has said you have to do? What do you do then? Peter and John give us the answer when that exact circumstance happened to them. The Jewish government had told them to stop preaching Jesus because it was causing problems, and they didn't like how it made them look. They even threatened to imprison them. Well, what was Peter and John's answer? Peter and John answered them, "Whether it is right in the sight of God to listen to you rather than to God, you must judge. For we cannot but speak of what we have seen and heard." Acts 4, 18 through 19. So Christians should be good law-abiding citizens, unless those laws contradict God's laws. In such cases, we're expected to follow God instead of the government. In the end, Christians have lived under all sorts of national laws, some good, some bad, and some really bad. Christianity has survived all of these changing political landscapes because, as Jesus said, "My kingdom is not of this world. If my kingdom were of this world, then my servants would be fighting so that I would not be handed over to the Jews. But as it is, my kingdom is not of this realm." John 18:36.